Hey everybody, we got a new ramp, so we're going to take you through all the different exercises. We're still going through the same order as we have in the past, where the only thing that's different is really the exercises, but not the muscle groups that we're working. That is still going to be in the same order. So the first exercise we're going to do is called a PRI wall squat with a right arm reach. Okay, so we do need to use the wall behind me, so I'm going to get there. You want to get your heels about maybe 6 to 8 inches from the wall. And you're going to have a staggered stance. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but I have my right foot a little bit more forward than my left. I'm going to bend my knees, and then I'm going to shift back to my butt touches the wall. I actually want to allow my upper body not to be very flat, like we're doing a deadlift or something. We actually want it to be a little bit rounded, and the hands will be level. I'm going to take a big, deep breath in. Inhale. As I exhale, I reach down with the right arm. I'm only reaching down just a little bit. Once I fully exhale, then I'll breathe in and come back up. A little further. And you're going to repeat that about up to 6 times, okay, when we do this. Now, one thing to make sure you understand is that you're not pulling up with your left hand. The left hand is just staying there. The right arm is coming down, coming back up. Then a little further. And then a little further with every exhale that you do that, okay? So that's going to be the first exercise we're going to do. The second exercise on the list is not an exercise, but it's the foam rolling that we do, okay? So I'm going to grab a foam roller. Perfect. Magic. Okay? So once again, guys, we can work on our glutes, okay? Start with putting your ankle just above your knee. And maybe about a good at least 10 forward and back rolls on each glute, okay? I like to kind of get centered, and I also like to turn onto the hip. And even before you do that, you can just do a little bit of just tailbone, the sacrum, just back and forth, just your sit bone back and forth. Once you do that, then come into your glutes. Turn onto the hip. If you find any trigger points or things that are sensitive, stop, breathe, try to let those painful point dissipate, and then continue to go, okay? So once again, maybe about at least 10 times forward and back. You can do more. You're going to find it over time. You might have one side that's worse than the other, or maybe you did a hard training session and it's a little bit more sore. So feel free to spend more time on one side if you need to, okay? That's the first one. The second one, we start working on the hamstrings, which is going to be the bilateral, meaning we work at the same time. So we just go from the back of the knee to the sit bones. Nice and easy. We can do toes in, toes out, get different parts of the hamstrings. We also can do one leg on top. Now it's deeper. Now when we do this, we're getting a deeper penetration into the tissue, which is something that we do want to do, okay? Some people might not be able to tolerate that at first, but usually pretty quickly, after about a week and a half of this, people can start going deeper. So you want to isolate each leg when you do it. Same thing for the calves, okay? You start just above the ankles on the Achilles tendon and just roll back and forth, okay? Just to the back of the knee, the top of the calves, back and forth. Then same thing, we can come and start working the calves now, single. If you lift your butt off the ground with your hands, you're going to sink in deeper, and you have the weight of the top leg pushing in as well to the outside. And also ankle range of motion. We stay on the Achilles tendon and we just do some circles, maybe 5 circles to the left, 5 circles to the right, okay? From here, we're going to now go a bit to the front of the body, all right? So we're going to start off with the quadriceps. I'm going to turn sideways. You can start with the rollers just above the kneecap, and then you're stabilizing with your core and just using your arms, pushing your elbows into the ground, your forearms to kind of pull you forward and back. Make sure your low back doesn't arch too much like this and you're doing it like that. That's not good for your low back. So keep your abs on a little bit so we're neutral when we do this. Toes in, toes out. We can roll sideways when we do this as well. Single leg as well. A little bit more pressure when we do this. We can do flexion and extension as we roll. That's a bit tough as well. We can go to the inside and outside on singles. Once we do that, we want to do the groin. So, lie down, turn this towards the midline of your body, this meaning the midline. And then we'll come down and put the roller just on the inside of the knee. We're going to close the hips and we roll in and out as we do this. Find different positions. You can move it around a little bit. Find different angles that work for you. Get all the way up inside high. That's for the groin. Next one we're going to work on will be shins. Use your arms to support yourself, just to roll yourself, forward and back. Your toes will be off the ground. Sitting down on your heels is a little easier than trying to stay up like this. That's going to require more activation of your core. Not a bad thing, but to keep it simple, if you're new to this, keep your butt towards your heels. Okay? One more addition that we're going to add to this is going to be a bit of the IT band. Okay? This is very sensitive for anybody. So when you do this, if I'm on my right side, my left leg is forward. If I'm pushing through my left foot, that's going to dictate how much I sink into the foam roller. So from here, I'm just going to go back and forth. My hands as well are also dictating how much I will sink into the foam roller. It's a very sensitive area. It's on the outer part. This is where the stripe is on my pants. That's where your IT band is. Be very gentle when you start doing this at first. Good. Now we're going to do a little upper body. We're going to work on the lats. So you can get on your side. Make sure the roller is in the middle of your torso. You don't want it too low on the ribs. That's going to be uncomfortable. So the hand is going to be outstretched. You can use the bottom edge of your left foot if you're on your left side, and the sole and the foot on the right foot to kind of dig in to push you back and forth. Get up into that armpit area. Use, once again, your hand, and how much you push into the ground dictates how much I'm really pushing into that foam roller. I can roll back and stop when I'm on the armpit and come forward and back a little bit. It's okay to roll at different angles. I'm a little bit more laid back. Now I'm going to be a little bit more laid forward. They're all good. Just be careful how much you compress your ribs. Another one we can do is going to be for the back of the shoulder, okay? Sideline. Take the roller, turn it towards, once again, towards the middle. And then from here, you can just roll back and forth into the back of the shoulder area, the shoulder blade. It's not going to feel good for most people when you do this, but once again, be right at that edge where if it's not enough, it's not doing enough. If it's too painful, it's also counterproductive. Then also you can work some internal and external rotation, just like this. Breathing, you can do circles, external rotation to internal rotation, and vice versa, internal to external rotation. Take your time with this one, but this is very important to do as well. You also can get some triceps if you want as well, where now you're rolling. You can flex and extend the elbow as you do it. You can go to different parts of the tricep or the inner part. You can just stay in one position and just flex and extend and then move it along. Or you can actually do rolling. There are different techniques, so you want to utilize both techniques when you do that. So that takes care of our foam rolling. Now it goes into more of the active part of the warm-up. And once again, RAMP stands for range of motion, activation, movement, preparation. So as we go through the warm-up, we're slowly getting our body temperature to rise. Why? Because we're going to get ready to exercise, okay? So now, first thing we're going to do is going to attack the hip flexors. Okay, so down on one knee, pull the toes up on the back foot. Very important here to keep the ribs down. So draw your belly button in like you're putting a tight pair of pants on, and a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, it's the opposite of how Donald Duck is. Donald Duck, or the military posture, is very big chest, and you have a big forward tilt. I want you to do the little bit opposite. And if you do it correctly, you know it because you're going to feel a stretch on that quad, on the down leg. Okay, belly button in, posterior tilt, keep those ribs down. Hands are going to be up in a prisoner position. And from here, you really want to squeeze that back glute. That's going to start to really help to stretch the your quadricep and also get the hip flexor going. This is the first position. You want to hold it for about 15 seconds. Once you're done with 15 seconds from this position, you reach to the sky. Keep the chin tucked like you're pushing the top of the head to the ceiling, maintaining that strong pelvic tilt, which is what I just did. Same thing here, squeezing that back glute. After about 10-15 seconds here, then we're going to add a side bend. So you're side bending towards the leg that is up. So I'm side bending towards my left. Squeezing that glute. This is going to create even more stretch when we do this. Nice, slow, deep breathing. And we'll do that each side. So it's hip flexor, stretch, 3 arm positions. Okay? Next one on our list is going to be a Cook hip lift. So for this one, we're going to need a tennis ball, which I will get in a second. This one can be challenging for people, so once again, if you can't do this, by all means, you can do an easier variation of that, okay? So, now that I have my tennis ball, I'm going to show what we're going to do. You want to find your ribs. The ribs start to curve off. And this is where the ball is going to be, not on top of the rib, and you don't want it way down here. Just where the sternum is, it starts to drop off, that's where you want to put this ball. And from here, legs bent to 90 degrees. Now the thigh is what's going to come and pin this ball to my chest, activating my hip flexor. This is going to make it much more challenging for me to get my hips up because now I have no help from my low back on this side to do that. And you're going to be strengthening the hip flexor at the same time. If you have limited range of motion, that's when maybe not only have to work on that through other mobility exercises, but put the ball a little bit lower. If you put it here, right at the joint, anybody can do that, and you're really not getting much benefit of it, okay? But if you can't hold it here at all, we can put it a little bit lower, all right? But ideally, it's going to be the position here. From here, you can have your arms out, pushing into the ground, and drive those hips up. And you don't want that ball to drop. Most people will do this, and their leg will come down, and they're going to drop the ball. So they have a hard time keeping that co-contraction. So, once again, that's too low. I want to put it right there where the ribs are. Keep that there. And I'm going to drive up and back down. Drive up and back down. We want to do 10 repetitions per side, okay? That's called the Cook hip lift. Next one's called the Dirty Dogs, okay? When you do this, some of you guys might want to have one little discs under your knee, just so it's a little bit more comfortable, and I'll show you what that's going to be like in just a second. So, I'm going to turn sideways, makes it a little easier for you to see how we're going to do this. So I turn sideways for you guys, have my disc, put the disc on the side that we're not going to be working. We want to get into an all-fours position. My wrist directly underneath my armpits. I don't want to be out here. My arms are not vertical. Now they are. Same thing with the hips. Hips and knees directly underneath the hips. Not here, not here. Once I'm in this position, we're going to raise the leg out to the side. Lift my left leg out to the side, straighten the leg, and then bring it down to the center. I raise out to the side, maintain 90 degrees, stretch, and come here. Be careful to make sure when you do this, when you straighten your leg, you don't put it there. Really try to work that hip, straighten, and then come back and down. 10 times per side. And then after that, we're going to do the horseback riders, okay? Excuse me, that was 8 per side. Here's how this one goes. It's almost the reverse. Drive the leg back. It shouldn't be up like this, like a scorpion with a bent leg. It should be, the leg should be in line with the torso. Push that heel back to activate the glute. Then bend your knee and bring your leg forward like you're getting on a horse. Once again, drive back and around. Some of you could cramp a little bit. You might feel tightness, but these are excellent exercises to improve mobility of the hips and actually to make them stronger as well. So those are the Dirty Dogs and the horseback riders. The next one on our list is going to be a shoulder complex, okay? Called the Maxwell shoulder complex. Here's how we're going to do this. Show you from the side. You're going to get down on your chest. Thumb is pointing to the ground, pinkies are up. We're in a little bit of internal rotation. Chin is here, not straight ahead. I'm going to look straight down. I start to bring my arms up. I externally rotate a little bit. Palms are facing the ground. When I get to the T position, hold it for a second. Then rotate the thumbs up more to the Y position, hold it. then to the I position, hold it, then pull down, really contract those muscles in the shoulder blades, and then from here, palms to the floor, elbows go a little wider, and we hold that, and then we repeat. So it's first position here, second is the T, third is a Y, and I, we pull down, and then we rotate the palms forward, elbows out. You're going to repeat that for 8 times, okay? Next one we're going to do is a half open kneeling thoracic spine mobilization. So, once again, you can use this if you need. Put this on the leg that's not going to be open. So once again, tall kneeling position, half kneeling, half open. The half open means the heel is in line with the knee. And I also want to make sure that I maintain a 90-degree angle here. I don't want to be here, which is pretty common. So also keep this knee back while I do the exercise. Since I'm on my right knee, my right hand is going to go down in line with my knee, maybe about a foot maximum. So from this position here, now I'm going to reach through as I'm pushing my knee back. I reach through as I inhale, exhale, and I open up my spine. Breathe in again, and exhale. Be careful once again of bringing the knee forward and sitting too much back. Those are 2 things you want to be careful of. Inhale and exhale. Okay? 8 times per side for that one. Next one after this is going to be a squat to stand variation. So from here, the key with this is understanding that don't go too low where you lose good spine angles, or if your heels start to come out, or if your heels actually start to spin out, okay? Or your toes spin out, excuse me. So from this position, feet are a little bit wide of the shoulder width, a little bit of out flare if you need it. Arms are up. I'm just going to bend over and touch my toes. Hold that for a second. My knees are still straight. If you can't keep it straight, that's okay. Then from here, I grab underneath my toes, and I'll pull myself into a squat. Now I can go pretty deep and keep a good spine angle, but if you can't, it's okay to be a little higher up. You might not be able to reach. Make sure the elbows are on the inside of the thighs. Keep your chest out. And then we're going to turn the thumb out, and we're going to follow with the eyes as we reach behind us. Then come back down, and then reach behind us. If you have good mobility and a good squat, you can get even lower. Same thing. But there's still tension. I'm not just collapsed like this and my spine is rounded. I still have tension. After you rotate each way, thumbs up, bring the arms up, get all those upper back muscles tight, then drive up and complete the movement, and then we repeat 4 times through for that. Next one is a lateral lunge with an overhead reach. To start off, the easy variation is going to be like this. The feet are going to be static, meaning they're not going to be moving, okay? From here, we're going to hinge, bend the knee as we sit into my left side, as I'm going to my left. As I do this, I reach, palms facing each other, thumbs are up. From here, I bring my arms up, and then I drive back up to this position, put it back down. You don't need to move the feet. I'll show you the next progression in a second. Same thing the other way. You hinge, push the hips back, we reach, we'll bring the arms up, and then we come up. One more time. Reach as we lunge, up. We're here, and last time. Make sure you sit into that hip, reach, then up. The dynamic version is the same thing, but it's a little more challenging. You have to decelerate and then accelerate out of it. So from here, we step, reach, up, drive up. That's the only difference for that, okay? Standing chest rotations. Feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent. Hands are out in front of you. If I'm going to turn to my right, I extend my fingers back, my wrist back, and I rotate. And I don't move. Then we alternate the other side. So we've got 4 each way, just like this. After 4 each way, then we do the same thing, but now we actually can turn and follow our hand with our eyes. Now we'll make it a bit more dynamic. Okay? So 4 static and 4 with movement, with rotation. The next one, some of you might already recognize, is a shoulder flossing. Remember, the feet should be relatively close together, maybe a little less than shoulder width. Soft knees. And get used to pivoting first. If I turn to my right, I'm picking up my heel and just bending my leg. as my right leg is very soft. It's not straight, it's a little bit bent. Same thing the other way. I just pivot and just let it collapse, okay? Now as the arms come into place. If I turn to my right side, I want to turn that right arm to external rotation. And the left one will go into internal rotation. So we're doing opposite motion. Just like you have water in a towel, if you get the water out, you got to wring it in different directions. Same concept. I turn to my right, I pivot, and I turn, my eyes follow that hand, I come up the other way, my left turns to external rotation, right one is internal, I collapse, soft. So nice and easy when you do this. Keep the arms level, don't let the arms drop, and coming even when you do this, okay? 5 times each way. Next one is a skip to a one-legged bowl, okay? This one's a little bit tough to show with this distance, but I'm still going to do my best I can. So from here, every third step is when you're going to do the actual motion. And I'll walk it nice and easy. I'll take very short steps to the space I have. If I step 1, 2, on the third step, I want that leg to be locked, knee locked, toes are up. I'm going to hinge. If you notice, my right leg is bent and my toe is pretty much straight ahead. I don't have a foot that's like this. I'm hinging. As I hinge, I'm going to reach around and I'm going to bowl, okay? And then we go right into the next one, okay? So we would do the same thing. 1, 2, the right leg plants, I hinge, and I bowl, okay? When it's done skipping, it's much more dynamic where you're going to be moving, and then it's going to be like this. But before you start doing that type of variation, make sure you can master the walking version. The last one that we're going to be doing is a lateral bear crawl. You guys remember the bear crawl forward? Now we're doing it sideways. Same setup. Wrists underneath the armpits, knees underneath the hips. Pull your toes up, okay? From here, you come off, and if we move to the left, we're going to move at the same time. So left, left, right, right. Left, left, right, right. Left, left, right, right. Making sure to keep the shins parallel to the ground. You don't want the butt to come up in the air, and you don't want to have the legs get too straight like this. We go half the length each way. All right, guys, that's your warm-up. I hope you guys like it. We'll see you in class soon, okay? Take care.